Okay, so one last topic we would see before we wrap up this Maven concept is profiling. Okay, so let me give you one scenario. You have prepared one test.ng XML file. Let's say it as a smoke test, because out of 100 test cases you executed only 2 tests, because smoke will not include all the tests if you want to run, right? You will only execute high level test cases. So in the same way, let's assume that there is one more XML file where you want to include all the test cases. It's basically kind of regression. Okay, test.ng 2.xml. So here you want to include all the tests. Maybe if there are 100, you should include all the 100. So right now we have only 3, so that I'll include the last one as well, which is Appium test. Okay, so let's treat this test.ng 2 as a regression and test.ng as a smoke test. Let's assume that there are few tests because here. So now there are 2 types of executions. So one time you want to run only smoke, and another time you want to run only regression. So how do you control that XML file's execution from your Maven? So every time you want to execute, you cannot go and change this file, right? So if someone asks you to execute smoke, you'll come here and put test.ng, and if someone asks you to run regression, you'll come here and put test.ng too. This is not ideal case. You should not update accordingly. Okay, if someone asks you to execute regression, by just giving some command, you should be able to execute this XML file, and if someone asks you else, you want to execute that another file. So if that is your criteria, we will build profiles here. Okay, so let me show you profiles, and we will write profiles here. So this is my first profile. I'll give this ID of this profile is regression. Okay, now copy all this information, what all you have in the part of build. Okay, till build, cut it and paste it inside this profile. Okay, so profiles is a parent. Under this parent profiles, you can have multiple child profiles. So I am creating one child profile. I am giving name to it as regression. So in this regression, I want to include all the test cases. So for that, there is one XML file ready for me, which does that, which is nothing but test.ng 2. Okay, I'll now go and change my configuration in regression to test.ng 2. Okay, so this profile is specifically to run regression tests. Now, from my command prompt while executing, I can deliberately tell that go and execute regression profile, so that it checks for multiple profiles it have, and whenever it finds regression, it goes inside and executes the file you mentioned there. Now, let me create one more file so that you will get clear picture of what I am talking about. So this is parent profiles. Let me create one more child profile. Okay, I'll paste the same code what all I'm using it here with the build, including ID. One sec. In my another child profile here, but this time I'll give the name of this profile as a smoke. So smoke is referring to this XML file, because we have configured this XML file to run only smoke tests. So that's the reason for smoke profile I am providing test.ng XML only. Okay, so in this way I have created 2 profiles here. One profile for regression and one profile for smoke. So now from command prompt, while executing this test, I can control saying that to run regression or to run smoke. It's my choice, and I can pass that parameter from my command prompt. Let's see that. Okay, so where is our browser? Okay, so here the command is mvn test, which is common. And now you say -p. P stands for profile. And now you pass the name of your profile. So let's say it is regression. That means I have to run all the test cases. Okay, or regression. So when I hit an enter, now Maven goes into that pom.xml file and looks for regression profile, and then it goes inside that and it executes testng2.xml. So that's why you see that in result you are seeing 6 test cases. So in testng2 we are having 3 tests, nothing but 3 2s are 6. Okay, so again tomorrow your client came to you and asked to run only smoke profile. He want to execute only smoke tests. What do you do that? In that case, there is already a profile for us which is smoke, which is referring to this XML file, right? Give the same command, change the profile name, that's all. Hit an enter and you see that now you will see your execution as 4 test cases. See that, test run 4. So that's the beauty of using profiles in Maven. You can control your execution and you can control your testng XML files execution with this profiling. So because in real time, so all these concepts will come in real time, you know. When you're working in your company, you will not be asked to run regression every day. Okay, so regression may run twice in a week. In that case, every day smoke is must for every build. So if someone asks you to run a smoke, you need not come and change the XML file name every time and then trigger. Okay, just set up all kind of profile, smoke, regression, sanity in your pom.xml file, and based upon the requirement just give this ID name and it should trigger that specific test cases. Okay, so that's about profiling. So I hope you are clear with the Maven concepts which we need to build a robust framework as we are dealing with from last few lectures. So if you recap, you know what is group ID and you know what is artifact ID. And artifact ID will be your project name. Okay, and then you know the dependencies, how Maven look at dependencies. So we will not hardcode jars, and it will not always pick the jars from internet. It will check in your local folder, which is .m2 repository, and what all jars you need for your project, you need to bring it them. And also you know what is importance of Surefire plugin, because it run your test cases. And you have to make sure you put it test as your test name. But again, using testng, you can configure your testng XML file using configuration. At the same time, you can have a multiple testng XML suites by maintaining profiles. All right. So this knowledge is enough for us to build our test automation. Okay. Even in the real time, in particular Maven, you will not see more than this. Okay. So maybe in the development projects they use for multiple purpose, but for our testing, this is more than enough for you to start with. Okay. So now till this lecture we have seen with a single command how we are going to execute this. Okay. But now from our next lectures we will see how to integrate the Maven project, a small dummy project which we created with Jenkins. Okay. In real time, all your projects will be on Jenkins only. People will not execute from the local or command prompts. So we will see how to integrate this with Maven with Jenkins and trigger all your test cases as a scheduled jobs from continuous integration tool called Jenkins. And thereafter we will also see how the reporting looks like in the Jenkins and how testng gives us. Okay. And just remember, here we are not introducing any code. So if you want to practice, okay, and if you are enrolled in your Selenium course, just go to this file and start building your Selenium test inside it and use the Maven. Or if you are in API test, go and start building all your Jira test cases or Twitter API, whatever we taught in our course, and try to run this. Okay, but still there is one more section at the end. After explaining all these components, I am going to inject and do that for you. Don't worry, so that you will have enough confidence on what you are learning. All right. So see you in the next lecture on Jenkins. Okay. At the same time, if you want to learn more information about Maven or TestNG, you can mail me, and I have a good number of PDF books written by top authors explaining all this. Okay, so you can learn and explore more about that reading that books. So you know that my email ID, right? So mail me if you want to explore more about specifically TestNG topics and the Maven. Okay, I can supplement you with good resources. All right, so see you in the next lecture in the Jenkins. Thank you.